Hey all, welcome to ShareTreck. This is Raj here. Thanks for joining me this morning. Good morning, Hot Dog. Good morning, Inf. Yeah, it's going to be a very interesting day today. Let's get started very quickly. We have the fear and greed index slightly improving from 18 to 20 today. And our treasury yields have climbed as investors continue to move away from government debt. And that's not a great thing because we can have more problems for the US because that's going to reduce the capital. Also, it will have an influence on the US dollar as such. So many people are speculating that the Fed is going to come out and start buying treasuries to reduce the yields. We'll see what happens when Chairman Powell comes out to speak later in the week. Of course, here in the bottom, you are seeing all the indices. They are mildly positive, and Bank of America has topped the analyst estimates on better than expected interest income and trading. Of course, all of us are trading in this volatile market, so there's going to be heavy volumes of trading. So any bank that has got capital markets and that's got a trading desk is going to do extremely well. And having said that, if you look at the other headlines, you can see there is more uncertainty and more trade related problems which can dampen the market. You can see that China orders Boeing jet delivery halt as trade war expands, and they have their own domestic jet, so they're going to try to tighten the screws on the US as well. And US businesses sue to block Trump tariffs, say trade deficits are not an emergency. These are all a bunch of small businesses. I think there are 5 small businesses who got together and bought this suit across. I'm not sure it's going to go anywhere because I think Trump already has the judiciary in his pocket. And so far, we have not seen any ruling from the judiciary of consequence. And the one that was of consequence was very mildly worded, getting the prisoner wrongly deported to El Salvador. And Trump has said that he's not going to do anything about it. So don't expect much from the judiciary either. And then you're looking at these 3 headlines that I took from Bloomberg. It says Trump initiates chip and drug probes ahead of more tariffs. So we don't know what the outcome of that is going to be. And then we have US economy set to lose billions as foreign tourists stay away. And then investors haven't been this bearish in 30 years. Bank of America poll shows. Generally, when people are very bearish, that's when the market starts to turn the other way around. So all those doubts start to come in my mind. So I don't know what to expect for today, and I'll show you the TradingView platform as well, and you'll get an idea of what I mean. J&J's earnings beat as farmer girds for looming US tariffs. We don't know when the tariffs are coming, and if Medicaid and Medicare and all those things are going to be cut, and if the pharma sector is going to be squeezed further, it's going to be difficult for patients in the US to buy medicines. And we also have a different regime on the FDA, and that's also weighing down heavily on the biotech sector. So things are not looking that great. And I saw this meme which I want to share with you guys today. It's Trump saying, I hold the cards, and China saying the cards are made in India. Made in China. It made me laugh a little bit. And yeah, so I thought I'll share that with you guys. And then we have these futures, S&P 500 futures. As you can see, it's just a whisker short of triggering this double bottom, but it's not managed to do so. And today we have this resistance, which is at around, let me just check it out here and tell you, 5,476.5. And this 5,476.5 has been dogging us all the way from 9th of April 2022. And if you were to consider even these are all 4-hour candles. So even if you look at the first 4 hours of 9th of April, we went below this line of resistance, and we have not been able to surface since then. We have punched it many times, but we have not been able to. Are we going to be able to do that today? I don't know for sure, but the 9-day exponential has been giving us very strong support. So we are in a squeeze between these two, and I'm thinking that today we should get some kind of a result because MACD is tending towards the signal line to cross on the bearish side, and momentum has become flat and it's kind of sloping down. So maybe today is the day. Our futures are much milder than what we saw in the market analysis in the morning. So in the morning when we saw, it was plus 0.13 when we started this session, and right now it's at 0.04%. So it's going down. The opening is likely to be a bit red. That's what it seems, and that's why I was saying that we are at critical inflection points, and probably we might go down further, because at the end of the day, if you look at it, we are in a bear channel and we are not able to break through the bear channel. Same story for Nasdaq. We are in a bear channel. We are not been able to break the bear channel, and this diagonal line of resistance has been with us all the way from 9th of April. Again, configuration is slightly different, but it's the same story, and we are right on top of this diagonal line of resistance. It's a very tiny squeeze. I'm just going to expand this so that you guys can see it clearly in your small screen. As you can see, this is today's candle, and this is a 9-day exponential, which is at 18,922. And this is the diagonal line of resistance, which is a dynamic line of resistance. And for today, it's at 18,974.75. So we are in a very tight squeeze. Are we going to break out on the upside or the downside? That is a big question. You look at the MACD out here, it's already bearish. Momentum is above average, but falling. So we could go either way, but the chances of us going down is much higher than going up, given all the other problems that we are facing overall. Now let's look at the dollar index, which is below $1 for the third day continuous. It's at 99.815. It's kind of consolidating at this level, and a support at 99.258 helps it to stay afloat. I'm going to just go ahead and have a look at the 10-year now. The 10-year yields are kind of neutral right now, but they are still quite elevated. And I think if more countries try to sell the bond and move off to euro or gold, you may see gold and euro European bonds strengthening up. We still don't know who's selling all the bonds, but it could be a collective reaction by many countries to reduce their exposure, because any country that holds a lot of treasuries, if they sell it, they are going to damage their balance sheet, because the value of those treasuries are going to go down. Whatever is remaining in their books is going to be valued much less. So this has to happen over a period of time, and I think over a period of time, countries have been moving out of the bond and into gold, and maybe into German bonds and others. So all of that is now coming to the surface, because we had the margin issue with the bonds and the hedge funds. That kind of puts a spotlight on this. That's the way I'm looking at it. Now next, let's go on and have a look at our indicators. The actual S&P 500, where did we leave them last? We were just on top of this support at 5,375.80, which is again going to be our support for today, and our resistance for today is a dynamic resistance, and it's going to be since this is a 4-hour chart, and this is our first candle for the first candle for 15th is going to be somewhere out here. So I'm going to say that our resistance is going to be range from 5,575.86 all the way to 5,580.15, roughly in those areas. That's our resistance. Our support is 5,375.80, followed by the 20-day exponential, 21-day exponential, sitting at 5,355.79. Those are the two supports that we have. And if we were to fall down further, then we have a dynamic support. Let me convert this into green color. This is a dynamic support which is going to trigger at 5,328.46, and it's going to be very strong because it's going to be combined with the 9-day exponential moving average, which is this red line that you see out here. So that's the range for S&P 500. Next, let's look at Nasdaq. Nasdaq is being pushed down by this diagonal line of resistance, and for today it's going to be at 18,969.95 to 18,952.02, because each of these candle is a 4-hour candle, and we'll have 2 candles for today, and they'll be forming somewhere in this region. And our support is going to be very strong at 18,605.78, which is combined with the 20-day exponential, which is at 18,573.29. And it's also clustered with the next support, which is going to be at 18,509.27, which is also something similar to where the 9-day exponential moving average is at. So we got very strong support. So I'm expecting a very tight range of trade today for Nasdaq. I don't know if you're going to break down from here or break up from here. MACD and momentum are looking pretty good for Nasdaq. but when we open, I think the pre-market is not looking that encouraging. QQQ was up 0.68% yesterday, but down 0.20% in pre-market trading. So our resistance is going to be 468.14 and our support is going to be 450.31, and also the support from the 21-day exponential at 451.83. So those are the two supports that we have for QQQ. VIX is elevated a little bit as compared to yesterday when we dropped off. It's up 0.62%, and that indicates that the market is going to be weaker today than it was yesterday. And then we have put call ratio, which is absolutely neutral. Gold is still elevated at a gain of 0.27% from the previous day, and we are getting very good support from the 9-day exponential moving average sitting at 3,218.50. so that's the overall outlook. XLP, which I have invested in a little premature, is recovering smartly, and my XLP stakes are now very close to becoming positive. So I am quite happy about that. And then let's go on to look at AI. Now we are looking at NVIDIA. This is very critical. If NVIDIA breaks through this horizontal line of resistance out here, then so will S&P 500 and NASDAQ, because it's a heavy lifter. But if you see the action for yesterday, the first 4 hours we dropped significantly. In the second 4 hours, we tried to break above this horizontal line of resistances 110 at 110.88, but we could not manage to do so. And it's at 110.86. This morning we are at 110.82. We are very close to it, and I don't know if we are going to be able to open above that and continue to move up and convert that into a support. We still have a price target out here of around 128.13 that we are aspiring to achieve. So this kind of makes me a little bit confused as to what's going to happen today, because where NVIDIA goes, so will the market. NVIDIA is showing a little bit of weakness on the MACD, because the signal line, MACD is moving towards the signal line to cross over to the bearish side, and momentum is also a bit flat. So we'll see what happens when the market opens. Right now we are up 0.16%. Let's look at Meta, which is down 0.07% in pre-market trades, being weighed down by the 9-day exponential, which is going to form the first resistance at 538.32, and the next resistance is a very strong resistance at 549.54, which is, along with the 21-day exponential moving average, going to produce very strong resistance. And in terms of support, we have support at 517.21, which is this horizontal line of support which has been with us for a long period of time. MACD is showing weakness, tending towards the signal line to cross over to the bearish side. Momentum is below average and flat. Google is down. Oh no, Google is up 1.30%. This is a very good sign. Google had been the most beaten up. It had the PE, which was the lowest among the Mag 7, and it's trying to recover out there. But there are words about Google having to break up and about Meta having to break up. These are some press releases that I have seen. Obviously, those things have not yet come to bear on Google, because we have been hearing about it for a long time for Google, but only recently for Meta. So that could probably be the sign of weakness for Meta out here. But Google is doing very well. It was up 1.30% yesterday, and it's still up 0.14% in pre-market trades, trying to navigate this diagonal line of resistance from a previous bear channel. And for today, the resistance is going to be at around 161.92, and then it's going to be at 161.82. These are the two levels at which I'm expecting that it's going to be facing resistance, and it's going to get support from the 9-day and the 21-day exponential moving average, which are in the range of 157 $1.50. You can take plus or minus $1 out there. So that's the support that we have out here, and then below that we have a support at 155.06. Then we have Amazon, which was down 1.49% yesterday and down 0.14% this morning. It has got a support at 184.19, and it has got a resistance at 180.03. Sorry, I went above. I went a bit off because I think I'm running low on sugar. I have not had my breakfast yet, so I got to focus out here. We're going to have a resistance out here. Let me just mark this red. This resistance Why didn't it go red? Yeah, this resistance is at 184.31, and our support today is going to be 180.38. These are the two ranges between which it's going to move. And right now we see a temporary resistance from the 9-day exponential moving average sitting at 181.70. Pre-market we are at 181.87, so 181.70 kind of becomes just on top of it. So I don't know whether I should call it a resistance or a support. It could be fluctuating until the market opens, so I'll leave it at that. If it becomes a resistance, that's the first resistance, and the second resistance is going to be 184.31 along with the 21-day exponential, which is also in the same price range. Now let's go on to Apple. Apple was up 2.21% yesterday, and this morning we have support for Apple at around 199.16, and we are right now at 199.83, just above that. And the 199.16 support is joined along with the 21-day exponential moving average, which is also in the same range. And then below that we have the 9-day exponential at 196.60, which is the next support. Right now our major resistance is going to be at 206.90, which is this red line that we see out here. And then yesterday also this was supposed to be the resistance, and it performed the role of a resistance very nicely. And then we have come to Microsoft, which was down 0.16% yesterday, and it's down 0.09% today. We still have support from 387.03, and the next support we're going to get is the 9-day exponential, which is sitting at 381.71. Our resistance is going to be at 399.94. MACD is also deteriorating slightly, and momentum is looking pretty healthy, so it's very difficult to say what's going to happen for Microsoft, but it's going to be micro movements if we go by what happened yesterday. Tesla is down 0.67% in pre-market trade, and it's going to get a support from 250.14. The price right now in the pre-market is at 250.96, just above this out here, and the resistance is going to be at 255.59. so that's the range in which it's likely to move today. And then we come on to Oracle, which was up 1.73% yesterday, and today pre-market it's down 0.27%. And I'm going to drag this diagonal line of resistance, which has been with us for a while now. I'm going to pull it out here. I'm going to say that this diagonal line of resistance is going to perform the role of a resistance today. It's at 134.71, and we have support, which is the 9-day exponential at 133.19. Pre-market we are at 134.28. so the resistance later on is going to be 136.60. So our support at 133.19, which is the 9-day exponential moving average, is going to be the first line of support. Second line of support next is going to be 128.25. That's what I'm seeing here. AMD was up 1.18% yesterday. That was around $1.10, and this morning we are seeing a drop of 0.47%, which takes it to 94.06. that is somewhere in between the resistance out here at 96.08. I'm going to mark that a resistance, and the support out here, which is a dynamic support. So today we're going to have support at 91.21 as well as 91.15. that range is going to be the ultimate support for today. Intermediate support is going to be the 21-day exponential at 93.19 and the 9-day exponential at 91.79. so lots of support for AMD, but overall AMD is in a bear channel, and the MACD is looking very good today, but the momentum is kind of looking weak. It's at the average, and it's also pointing downwards, so that could be a loss of interest in AMD. So we have to watch out for that. SMCI was down 0.9% yesterday. Pre-market it's flat today, and it's going to get a resistance which is going to be at around 34.82, and then it's also going to get a resistance from the 9-day and the 20-day exponential, which are sitting between 33.37 and 33.92. that range is going to be resistance, and our support is going to be at 31.08. Overall there's a bearish channel in which SMCI is moving, so trend is bearish. AVGO or Broadcom was down 1.97% yesterday. It falls another 0.25% today, taking it just below 178.99, which is our resistance for today. This is going to be the first line of resistance. If we break through above that and open above that, our next resistance is 185.91. Our first support is going to be the 9-day exponential sitting at 174.14, which is this red line out here. And then we are also going to have another support, which is going to be this 21-day exponential, which is sitting at 171.29. So that's the range in which I think Broadcom is going to move. Palantir still looks pretty bullish today. It had a gap up yesterday, but could not manage to go beyond 95.98, and then it came back down. And today our supports are going to be the 9-day and the 21-day exponential, sitting in a range of 86.31 to 88.28, and our resistance is going to be at 101.59. Pre-market, it's up 0.68%. MACD and momentum both are looking healthy, so that's pretty good for Palantir. And SMH is at 0.15% gain yesterday, and this morning it's down 0.21%, so it's given up all the gains from yesterday. We had a resistance yesterday at 201.52, and it remains a resistance today because we are at 201.18 in the pre-market session. Our first support is the 21-day exponential at 200.22, and the second support is the 9-day exponential at 198.22. And then we have a support at 197.69. So this is the range in which I'm expecting semiconductor ETF to function. Again, everything is going to be determined by NVIDIA. If NVIDIA moves stuff, it will move. Let's just quickly look at NVIDIA where it is. It's up just 0.03% in pre-market. It looks to me like it's going to stay below this resistance out here. So if that happens, we're going to have a red day. And then just before we go away, let us look at Tempus AI for our friend Hot Dog and see what are the trading ranges today for Tempus AI. Tempus AI is down 0.44%. It's at 42.94 today. And we have this line of support here at 42.96. So I think that today the pre-market price is just in the vicinity of this. So we can't say that this is going to be a support or a resistance. So I'm going to leave it as it is. It could be a resistance or it could be a support for today. But our first resistance for today is going to be at 43.47, which is our 21-day exponential moving average. And our first support is going to be 41.88, which is our 9-day exponential. And our next support is going to be around 36.01. So this is a range of trading for Tempus AI for today. And that's for our friend Hot Dog from Australia. So Barrier, good morning. Good morning, Johannes Barrier. Thanks for joining us, Johannes. Okay, so we are all done with our indices. So I'm going to look at anything in the chat section and have a chat with anybody who has a ticker that they want to have a look at. Or I would be ready to go for my breakfast and boost my sugar levels. So thanks to Hot Dog, Inf, and Johannes for joining up. And if you have any questions, I'd like to take that, or else we are off. I'd like to wind down the session and say bye for now. Thanks all. Bye.